Hey, Bri, doesn't it suck that the boss is always over our shoulder when we're trying to talk?
Jay, he should be entertained by us. Let's get out of here and finish this conversation.
All right, as long as it's not work-related.
Jay!
B!
How's it going?
Fucking pretty much 100%, buddy.
I want to welcome everyone to the Work-Related Podcast.
We are related by work on Twitter.
On X. On X, the real deal.
On X.
The real deal.
Oh, man, the real deal. That's how I feel. Real deal, Holyfield. Yeah, man, I'm feeling real good. Feeling real happy to be here. Happy you don't have a heart out. Stupid work-related stuff getting in the way.
Right? Work-related stuff on work-related shows.
I don't even know even how to start this, just to be full transparency, because we did the song thing again.
Yeah, so we're trying to add this into like a regular part of the show.
Yeah, and nobody here is going to be surprised at like my lack of professionalism. Sorry, Brian, bringing Brian down. He's the professional podcaster over there. But we even like don't know if we should. So we're trying to figure this in the show, just like Brian said.
Yeah.
So
work in progress.
We did it at the beginning of the show, or we did it before we started. Now, last time, if you guys are patient enough to hear whole shows, we did with the diss tracks, and we did like 5 songs that Brian made me listen, had me listen to,
forced him,
and then we came back in and we talked about it with this fresh perspective.
Yeah,
and so we've always had this idea. I had it when my buddy was still working for the radio stations, had the old school boomer, like the boom and the flow, and I said we're boomer and the flow over here.
Oh yeah,
hashtag boomer and the flow. So we thought, like, it's not that I'm just like never heard any hip hop or anything, but just how fast you get away from songs, I think, in a generation and what have you. All the songs are at your disposal and mine, but it's hard for me to go back and listen to new shit or whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Everybody kind of knows. So we've thought we try to introduce other songs to each other. Yep. And we've said that before. So we did that today. Yeah. I made Brian listen to a song. He made me listen to a song.
So have you heard the song I Played You?
No, I've never heard the song you played me.
So I've never heard the song you played me either.
That's right. Well, I think it's easier for me. I've definitely overthink this stuff. And so, but I knew that you would have heard of Black Sabbath before.
For sure.
I don't know if you even have a preconceived notion of what Black Sabbath is.
Yes, because my friend, I think we've talked about it before, when I was really playing drums, I had a best friend in my apartment building. He played guitar, and Black Sabbath was one of his dad's favorite bands.
So that's why I'm kind of think about too much, because I know you play drums and you have like this little, you had a punk phase, you know what I mean? Like you're very open to what your music is. So I do remember you having a guitar buddy, and anything that's like rock and roll, like these are staples to my rock and roll knowledge. So I think that like anybody's going to learn how to play the easy bass AC/DC stuff and stuff. So I think that that's easy to introduce to a kid who wants to play music.
Yep.
I have to I don't have to know where new music is released to find out. Not that, again, it's me stretching, like find out who J. Cole is. Yeah. It's real easy to not care or ever find out who J. Cole is.
Absolutely.
Other than if it gets too commercial, right? And then that's not a song you kind of want to, like you're like, a good fan will be like, no, you should have heard some of his good old shit or whatever. So I'm, like the song I played you, like I've known since like I've had that album.
Do you remember first hearing it?
So not really. I don't remember the time and date, but I remember the first time I really heard it. Yeah. Like you got to hear it with the lyrics, and you're kind of thinking of what it is about. Like I never, like I don't want to even say too much beforehand, but I never. it was just a song that I couldn't fucking put. It'd be like Sire listening to the Wet Dreams song and not knowing exactly what he's talking about. Yeah. Right? Like, and so I did not know what that song was until I was like in my 20s. Mm-hmm. And I heard it like when I was like 10 or 11. Like I had that heavy metal album, you know what I mean? Like that Black Sabbath. So I was just curious on you. So you never had like a preconceived notion of what Black Sabbath or who they were. They're just like an older heavy metal band. Or
like heavy metal-ish band. Yeah.
You wouldn't know if they're 60s, 70s, or 80s, would you?
Well, I know who Ozzy Osbourne is. Yeah,
but that doesn't mean you know where their music came from. Like Ozzy was bigger solo in the 80s.
Yes.
And Black Sabbath,
but I knew he was from Black Sabbath. You know what I mean? Like I knew all that kind of stuff, and I've heard Black Sabbath songs before, but it's not to the point where I can name Black Sabbath songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can get that.
So that's my and obviously Black Sabbath t-shirts everywhere. Yeah. Like I always have this memory of like my same friend. His name was Corey. He's still alive, so his name is Corey, right? And I remember he used to always go, he used to have this big German Shepherd named Taz, and that dog loved me. He hated so many people, but loved me for some reason. And like he had an older brother, and he had a younger sister. And his dad, every time I go to their house, like it was one of those, I don't need to knock the door type of situations. Like they just know, we're all comfortable and stuff. And his dad always wore Black Sabbath t-shirts. His dad had long hair. His dad played guitar too, but obviously he had less time for it. And Corey played like 3 guitars. He's been playing basically his whole life. He basically still plays to this day. And because I know from Facebook.
Yeah.
And so that was basically, Black Sabbath to me. It wasn't like I never heard of it from ear. It was just more experience or they would play it in the house. They didn't watch a lot of TV. They played a lot of music and stuff.
So you would just hear it. You would just say, you couldn't say, oh, here comes a Black Sabbath song or whatever. But
exactly.
That's where I'm not worried about. But I think like some of these songs that I think were just kind of in the background for you. Yeah. You'll never really like have to pay. So from that album, that wasn't like the biggest hits or whatever from there. There's other songs that are more popular like War Pigs or Iron Man. I probably want to play War Pigs for you again at a certain time. And I was, again, overthinking it. So the reason why I played you that one is there was a less chance of you knowing what it was.
What was the name of the song?
It was called Hands of Doom.
Yeah.
Hand of Doom. And like I said, it's not a deep cut, but once I realized what it was, like I've always loved what it, like the kind of song it was, even as a kid. I can't remember, oh my God, this is one of my favorites ever, but it always resonated with me because, and now it's different because it seems so long. My attention span isn't there either. Like watching you, or like making you listen to an 8-minute song, and just like there's a reason why this doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah,
like,
but I didn't feel like it was long.
No, that's me thinking like overthinking it again, right? Like it was always like that. But so it's never been a problem for me growing up hearing those kind of songs. I love the journey that it takes. Like I love like the breakdown of it. Like I like the whole musicality, whatever, like how it sounds. And then once I attached what the message was to it, then it just became an all-timer to me. Like it's a hidden gem. So it was Hand of Doom, Black Sabbath from the Paranoid album, which probably came out in like 1980, 81.
Jeez.
And like I said, an older cousin type gave it to me for a Christmas present or whatever. And so this was way before lyrics were, like my parents really didn't know what I was listening to at that time. So what do you think?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I said right after I was like in this whole journey, I like how they changed the music. Like it's obviously about an overdose, right? And drug use. Yeah. And so I was like, at first I thought it was just going to be about a journey about drug use, about like a trip, whatever. But closer to the end, I started to figure out because he kept saying like certain things. I'm like, this is an overdose. I said, this guy's about to go on an overdose. So that's what I was thinking through the whole time. And like, listen, I had to go back and forth with listening to what he was saying, and then trying to really focus on like the guitar playing. I love the guitar, so I like guitar solos a lot. Sure. So like I had to take time to listen to different parts of the songs, right? The drumming wasn't that great, but I was just more interested in this song.
So I hear you. So when it gets real quiet and the breakdown, like I like that hi-hat or top hat, like singing or whatever. And you're right. Like, so that's how you feel like you're going on a trip listening to this song. Yeah. Right. And this is like, so I think it's like, again, it's more because he says acid pill in it and all. Like, I just assumed that from hearing the needles, like it was just, it's like a heroin. I think it's a warning about drugs. Like, I don't know if it's necessarily the whole trip.
Yeah. Cause the song was about the trip mostly, but he did say things like, the price of life is too high and all this kind of stuff. So he was saying like, I feel like I don't think he was talking about him going on a trip and overdose. I think he was talking about somebody else going on a trip and saying, this is what happens. This is what can happen on a trip. And this is the things you're going through. And now you're just going to die. Yeah,
that's it for sure. To piggyback on that, I think it's the whole arc of somebody getting addicted to drugs. They talk about like first it was the bomb, like oh my God, and you're in, but because you're in Vietnam, because this was way back, like so you're a soldier and you become addicted to fucking heroin, and then now you come back to the States and you just can't handle reality, and so it's over time, like you got it's not just the one trip that knocked you down.
True, because like he was saying like put the needle in, and he's like, no, just take that pill, like you know like what it was mean? Like it was just like once you start going down that road, it's and then you're like you become blind of how bad it is. And so, so would you say it's a pro-drug song or an anti-drug song? I would lean more to anti. I didn't really think it was either one. I wouldn't say it was a pro for sure, but I would say that he wasn't really bashing drugs, so that's why it's hard for me to say it's an anti. I think he was just telling a story of.
He's calling you a fool for doing it, or maybe you feel like a fool. Okay, you're right. I'm saying it's an anthem for anti-drugs.
He definitely was not, but I mean, who is it coming from? So it's like,
I think it's from somebody who's done the drugs, and that's somebody who's seen other people like get like
when did he stop the drugs?
Maybe yesterday.
Exactly. So it's like I don't know, right? So
okay. The thing is, but Black Sabbath has this huge attachment to them growing up that they were such a satanic band. Like they were so bad to listen to.
I did hear things like that.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that, but that song is not that.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like somebody would take that song not hearing what the lyrics really were and take it as a pro-drugs. Oh, look, they're telling you to push the needle in.
Yeah.
They're telling without really hearing what the message is. Like you can want to hear somebody just like talking from above, like a fucking white bread politician who's never done the drug, never said, "Oh, just say no." Like that's what's going on at the time. Just say no, or whatever. But like afterwards, and now this is person like, yeah, I get it. You know what I mean? Look at all the color, like everything. But like this is what you're never going to get out of that trap.
This is the cost now.
So I think like they were labeled because they had the word Black Sabbath in them. Yeah. They came from a heavy metal fucking thing. So everything they did was not worth listening to. Mm-hmm. And then you hear a song like that. Same thing with other, you know what I mean? Like so that's why I found listening to Black Sabbath later in life, not just as a teenage stoner, right? Just like fucking no, man. There's like a good message in there. They're telling you not to do drugs.
There's some depth. There's a lot of depth.
I don't know how much. Like I'm not saying that one song. It's more watching people put needles in their arms when I was a kid that made me not do that hardcore of drugs. Mm-hmm. Like I've never wanted. Like obviously the feeling feels great. You know what I mean? Like of whatever. See the colors and tripping out, but like that scary path. I've always been like kind of leery. I'm not saying that song put me away from it, but it's a reminder.
Maybe it did subconsciously.
It's a reminder when you're like 20, seeing people like that doing that. You go fucking, oh man, they're trying to warn you in these songs. So, I kind of felt that later, but it was like I said, just a groovy tune. I thought at times.
I liked it. Nice. I liked it. I was grooving to it. I was chilling.
Okay, well that's one of them. So whatever, we'll figure out how we're going to do this again.
We got to do it again.
No, I don't know if we need to say any more of it, like on that song, or if you like.
No. We don't really have to.
I'm not saying, and I'm saying again too much. It's like. We'll have to listen to see what the feedback is, if this is going to be good to do before, or if we should do an episode of just 4 or 5 of these songs.
Like I said, it's a work in progress, and we'll do whatever feedback we get, we can apply it.
Nice. Okay. Sure. So then you gave me a song.
I gave you a song, a J. Cole song. And you've heard J. Cole before?
I've never heard of
J. Cole.
I've heard of J. Cole, and I got to tell you, before I heard you talk, and then your other Serious Business and all that, I never really probably retained his name until you started saying J. Cole. I was just like, whatever. So, oh, that's a rapper.
Yeah,
he sounds like the white bread rapper. Do you mean? You know what I mean? Like I don't know why. It just seems like a normal guy's name. Yeah. If you would have said this artist J. Cole, I would never have thought he was a rapper.
Yeah.
And then if you put the word, okay, I get it. And so, yeah, I'm very, very new to him.
Okay.
Never heard of him.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, no any preconceived notions of him whatsoever. So I thought that was a good jam. Yeah. I don't know if that. Is that his best example of his best work?
It's an example of this type of work. He's a storyteller, right?
Yeah, I felt the story there.
He does that a lot. That's off of one of his better albums. It's not the biggest song off his best album, just like the Black Sabbath, but it is a big song. It is a known song in hip hop. It
not as old as the Black Sabbath thing, but it had an old school R&B vibe to it.
That's big. That's like a J. Cole.
Or would you call
vibe.
that R&B? Would it be R&B? Like
R&B vibe, but that's like a J. Cole type of a thing. So he's like, he does songs like that mostly.
It was very innocent. It had a very innocent vibe to it.
Yeah.
I'm curious on 2 things. On how old you were when you heard it?
I can't remember. Forest Hills. That's the album. Forest Hills. That's got to be. Shit, I don't know.
Okay, and curious, how old do you think he was when he wrote it?
I think he was. Well, he wrote that album within the year, like that year before.
So we're talking, he's in his 20s, right?
Yeah. He's looking back on it.
Yeah, I get it. It's an innocence of your first time and seeing all that. I get it. For some reason, the older anybody is on this, the creepier it sounds. Like it was good. It was a good story. But if you're a fucking certain old man talking about, like, it just seems, I don't know, wasn't off-putting or whatever. But it just takes away some of the innocence of it. of trying to hook up for the first time, of like noticing the pretty girl and like you know what I mean, like just can't stop thinking of getting a boner in class.
So this album came out in 2014.
Yeah, see, so that's like I get it. Yeah, like you as like not even 20 yet, just you know what I mean, like hearing that song, like it seems like a teenager's song to me.
Yeah, so he does a lot of so he's 39. So how old does that make him in 2014?
He's just a couple years older than you. So yeah, that's cool. That makes it like if he was a 32-year-old man singing about this song, he could still sing this song, and it's not. But it just seems a little, I don't know, a little creepier to me.
It could be. So his album 2014, Forest Hills Drive, was about his house that he grew up. So the whole album is about him growing up and coming of age.
That
right?
fits too.
So he's not telling the story he's telling the story of when he lost his virginity for the first time. He's not really telling the story of how to do it. It was a story about him. That was his
No, that's where I get
story.
the innocent. Like I like that.
So,
like it was a great story. Like I said, I had that story and I felt like into it, and it was really good. I wondered how long can he sing this song for? Like can he again? Like it's the Rolling Stones can't go up there and start singing about fucking 17-year-old groupies anymore. Like it's part of some of the songs, but they don't age well.
But groupies is completely different from losing it in losing your virginity in high school. Like I could tell people my story about me losing my virginity right now. You know what I mean? So it just depends.
Yeah, no, I that's why I just was curious on how old you would be to like how it would resonate with you more. Like you hear this for the first time when you're like 30. I don't know if it's going to hold as much weight to you as if you are only a few years out of just having sex.
I think it would because you always
you still get back to it. No, I got it. No, I heard it. I felt like that's the first thing. It's like, oh, it's so innocent. It's such an innocent feeling. Like he's talking about pussy and fucking and shit like that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
he's like he's into the story and then he comes out and sells it from a grown up perspective as well.
Oh, innocent. I get
like
it.
for example, when he said his line, I hadn't been in pussy since the day I came out one. That wasn't what he was thinking about in the moment. That was what he's thinking about now. So she's saying all this stuff, and then he's saying, okay, so I've done it before. For sure. I'm a pro. And then he comes out and says, I don't know why I'm saying this because I haven't even been in pussy since I was born.
I think that's his. I do still think that's back in the time. It's inner monologue at the time. Like when you're there and you're just trying to front, and then he says, "No." I think that everybody can resonate with that song, boy or girl,
for sure.
Because you're like he's talking because he's fronting and we're all fucking like shitting bricks in our heads or whatever, right?
And at the end, he ends up saying that like he's so worried about himself the whole time, thinking the whole song was basically about himself, right? And then at the end, they tell you that she says, I'm a virgin, I never did it. And there was never a mention about her being a virgin. It was never a mention about what experience she had or anything. So he was there. It's kind of like the overthinking. He was there thinking about this whole storyline and he didn't realize that she was a virgin as well.
Yeah, I like that too. That's why I think so I assumed like knowing other stories and seeing that like because we've already lived it all. Yeah. Like I knew where his perspective was coming from and it's great to hear a good artist sing, you know what I mean? Like tell their story like that. Mm-hmm. That's what all good stories have in common. And yeah, you of course know us knowing now that, she's not fucking, like she's just in the same boat.
Exactly.
You don't know that when you're 15, 16 years old, don't. Right? Like get it. So I really enjoyed being in that story and seeing that and the realization that he had at that time. It wasn't, I guess I hear him saying it. It wasn't a surprise to me. Like being an old person now, knowing that, like I knew, of course, she's not going to
be a virgin.
Yeah,
she's going to be.
A virgin. I knew that's going to be. No, the whole thing of don't ask me to stand up, teacher. Like that kind of sentence has been said a million different ways, a million different times. And so it's great to put it in that story. Like I feel with that, like I said, that it makes more sense that it's from 2014 because it's not as. Even now, fast paced as some songs tend to be. Not every song or whatever, right?
J. Cole's never really fast paced.
Yeah, it's me and overthinking my expectations of whatever song might be, like any song. So I'm just overshooting every other song that I'm not thinking about at the time. So I don't know why, but it was just like I was happily surprised by that feel to it and the story. And it was great. It makes me want to hear other stories of his. Yeah. And I think most of songs, groups I even heard of, or like. We're always telling their own stories. A good story could just make a story up out of the blue.
Yeah.
Right? Like just a random, like even
like
like gangster
Biggie,
rap.
like a Biggie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like anything, right? Like it's just all good. Like
for sure.
When it's done right, anything could be like done well.
There's room
even like
for
Eminem.
it all.
What?
There's room for it all.
Yeah, so I appreciate that. I imagine there's lots of ways he can tell a million different stories.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind just the ones that he's been through. Right.
Yeah.
But it becomes more personal when it comes to, because it's everybody relates to it.
Yeah.
And you see that. It put me back into that time where he would be like crushing on a girl in school.
Yeah.
And like the whole 9 yards of it all. Like I've never been poetic enough to put it into words or whatever.
Me too.
I appreciate it, man. No, I thought it was great. Like it does make me want to hear more J. Cole songs for sure.
That is one of my favorite albums by him. Just the whole coming of age. Like it's funny because his album cover is him sitting on the roof of the house that he grew up in. And so when he went on tour for this album, his stage was just the roof. So he's on the roof of the house,
insane.
like basically talking to the crowd and like telling them, he's basically, you know, like when you see TV shows and they're on the roof and that's where they go to have like be with their thoughts and stuff.
They go, yep.
So that's what his whole tour was about. Basically, the whole album was about him, retrospecting on his life growing up. So yeah, it was
you like that about him, that he like ties it into theme. Like,
yeah,
or just that one theme. Like, are all his themes bangers?
All of his albums are. He's just one of those people who take their time into their music and do it. It's not like I don't want to diss it because I like all types of hip hop. So I don't care if it's a gangster rap or just some dancey songs. I get it, but like he's one of those people who takes their time to actually craft a whole body of words compared to trying to just to make you dance type of a thing.
I like that too. I can appreciate that too. So
yeah,
well, I appreciate it, man. I'm happy that I heard it now.
J. Cole, Wet Dreams.
J. Cole, Wet Dreams, and Black Sabbath, Hand of Doom.
Yeah.
All right. So they're in the.
We're gonna make a playlist. I say it, so I have to do it.
That doesn't mean that's happened before.
Never happened.
Okay, cool. So we'll go from there. All right. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know if it's best to have a whole episode of it, or just squeeze it into our episodes now.
All right,
but we'll see.
It might
come
evolve.
back on it.
We have cameras.
No promises.
We have cameras.
So, I mean, not that I don't ever let you fucking talk about what's going on with you, but I've had a fucking great week, buddy. Like, I am fucking feeling myself like not like,
nice. That's good.
I've been driving. So I've started driving again.
So you're free.
I am. I've never really been. I got nowhere to go. So it's like I'm not like that.
Do you
free.
just drive for no reason?
I did the first day because my car was broke. Like so, Kevin. So I never started my car the whole 2 months that it was over 2 months that it was sitting in the driveway. In hindsight, both Tammy and I looked at each other and goes, yeah, I thought maybe we should start the car, every now and then, but
don't you have like an auto start?
Yeah.
So you could have just done it?
I could have.
And sure. It shuts off by itself too, right?
Well, you have to shut it off, yeah.
Oh, it doesn't shut off after a certain amount of time?
I don't know, it might, yeah. I don't know if I've never let it run like that before.
Because you could have just...
Oh, there's many things I could have done. We don't have that kind of time. We don't have that kind of time. But I went, so it was like Monday when I decided I was going to drive for the first time. And so I did, and I'm feeling good. So I don't know how to tie all this in or whatever, but I've really upped my exercise game. Yeah. Like I'm not my best version of myself that we talked about. Remember, get off track here. Like I didn't want to not use this time well. Like I still haven't weighed myself and I'm still like eating wasn't the greatest, but I haven't found the ability to exercise my best or whatever, be my best. Like I was slipping, right? Like that's why I'm scared to go on the scale.
Yeah.
So I want to change that. Like I'm starting to feel stronger doing the things like I'm strong enough to drive. So with that, I have a whole new exercise routine type of thing, what I'm doing. So I did my exercises, like a certain amount of them or almost, well, whatever. Did my exercises. So I'm going to go get my own coffee now, go to the car to start the car and it wouldn't start. I'm like, oh, and it wasn't that it just was like a click, click, no battery start. It was a wong, and it sounded to me like when I was overthinking things again, right? And paranoid. And it's like, holy shit, the engine seized. Like it's been sitting here for 2 months and the engine seized. Like, fuck. And so I called Tammy, go, my fucking car. And so luckily enough, her dad just bought her CAA.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like weeks before, like a month before it tops.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, we got CAA, give him a call. So I'm like, fucking. So I called CAA. This guy comes with a battery pack thing, boosts the battery, says you guys got to leave it running for like an hour and it should be okay. So I did that. So I drove around a little bit for no reason there.
Yeah.
And it was good. Didn't want to go to any school zones in case I couldn't brake fucking fast enough or, avoid fucking high danger fucking things. But It just like I can't tell you like how great it felt. It was a sunny day. Everything was good. I was already done my exercises, so my blood was feeling. Like I said, it was a whole new beginning in a way.
Was there any discomfort
in driving?
Yeah.
Lifting my leg into the car still isn't like easiest thing in the world. You know what I mean? Like that motion of putting my car, but I don't have to lift my leg as much as I thought I did to get it over to the brake.
Okay.
Braking and driving, no, there's no discomfort whatsoever.
Oh, nice.
Just like getting into the car just a little bit, but I kind of always had that. So no, like it was just like riding a bike or driving a car. Like it felt, you know what I mean? Like to be good back into it. And it's not so much that I just hate relying on Tammy to do it all for me, or
That's
just
fair.
feeling it was I started feeling useful again. Right? Like not that I am, or I'm not doing anything like over the fucking top here or whatever, but I just felt like so useless before.
Oh, so you're starting to feel like you're not being productive, huh?
In a taking care of the house type of way,
In
and
life.
myself type of way.
In
What do you mean in life?
huh?
Yeah, like what's more important than my house and my life and my body?
Your job.
You need it to work.
Is also important.
I'm not the only person that's home all day on my fucking street. Like I don't know what else everybody else is doing. I'm not there yet. My job has been my identity in a certain way for a while, but it's not. I don't miss that part of my identity.
Okay.
Like
sounds like you're.
I'm getting over myself.
Sounds like you're starting to feel a little unproductive, Jay. Just saying. No, I don't want to talk about it. It's okay.
No,
it's
like
okay.
you're wrong. Like in what way is it unproductive? I felt the only way that I say that you can come back at me that is that I wasn't using this time to take care of myself in the best way.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to do with like, okay, I don't know how, if you need to be productive working for somebody else to make that whole.
I don't think it matters who you're working for, to be honest.
So this is the first time that I've upped my exercise game. Like I've done I've added 4 new exercises to it. I went on the bike for the first time. I go and get my coffee. I come back, have a little bit of coffee, and then I go on the bike again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing 2 different sets of exercises and then have a shower. And I'm trying not to eat anything or smoke anything till at least 2:00.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I feel productive. Like before, where I was just getting up and had to put ice on my leg, or just go downstairs when Tammy got up, so I didn't want to go downstairs by myself, and then I would just lie there watching TV for a bit. I was still fine with that more than you would think.
For sure.
And I'm still fine with that now.
Yeah.
I really am, but I don't want to fall into that trap.
Mm-hmm.
If another month goes by and I'm just like not exercising as much as I can, or even trying to get a little bit better, and my shirts all start fucking feeling fucking tighter, it has nothing to do with production at work.
But I'm going to push back on you and say this, because I get the same way. I told you last week that I just get a little antsy. I'm not really thinking about, I can't wait to go back to work just to work. My mind's thinking I need to find something to do. I just think people who work regularly and is used to producing stuff eventually needs to find something to do. You may not attach it to work itself, but in your mind, you're already saying like, okay, yes, there's other reasons why you want to do certain things different, but you're getting away from not being productive at all. And like I said, it's not necessarily just about work, but eventually you're just going to start doing, it's like when my stepdad retired, he just could not sit down. He just couldn't do it, even though he was mad about going to work every morning, and it was a rough physical job for him, and he would always come back in pain. He just could not, even though if he wasn't attaching it to work, he would be gardening. He'd be cutting the lawn when it didn't need to be cut. He'd be going to his friend to go help him finish a basement. Like he's just naturally be doing go to the mechanic and go talk to his mechanic friend and figure out what's wrong with the car. Like he would just naturally be grabbing things to do, because as a productive person, as like we are, we just naturally do these kind of things.
I don't think you know me whatsoever, man.
I know
you think you do. Whatever, but
I don't think I'm saying I don't. I'm not saying that.
No. I'm not trying to.
I'm just talking about as productive people who are used to producing. I could not picture you not doing something for a long period of time.
The only reason why I feel like I can't just sit on the couch and do that is because it won't be good for my physical well-being. Mm-hmm. Working for a living is not drawn into that attention. I am not going back on the bike because I'm fucking antsy for something to do. I am trying to distract myself from eating and watching TV and smoking joints all day long. That's what my still, after being off this much time, that's what is drawing me to do. I'm trying to be my best self.
Is it hard?
It's not the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And I do feel a little proud of myself, but none of that is like, I'm proving that to myself, not because I'm a productive person, but because I also know the consequences of it. Like I'm fucking looking.
Jay, lots of people know the consequences of things and still don't do it. But we just listened to a song about drugs. Yeah. They know the consequences and they still do things that they're not supposed to do. But not every person will be able to pull themselves out of it.
No, but I'm trying to be. So I've also talked on the show about my future self.
Yeah,
like my future self is more about not being a fat fuck and trying to take care of myself personally like that. Work is a necessity that comes with it. I'm not who your stepdad is. Like I don't like, I had to cut the grass today or this week. It was the first time it's been cut for 2 months. Like it wasn't overgrown. Because I was like, I had to do it. I had to do it. I go on the bike again after my coffee because I've been up in the morning. I don't want to sleep all day while Tammy's at work. I feel like, and I'm not pulling my weight in the household version like that. Like I feel that. Like I definitely feel that.
That's all about being that type of person. Some people, believe it or not, won't care about that. Won't even cross their minds.
Okay, but they're losers.
Maybe not.
No, of course they are. If you're the type of person that would have zero problem with your wife pulling in 2/3 of the fucking weight,
a lot of people have no problem with that.
But only because you're just deciding to be lazy. You know what I mean?
Maybe that's just their personality.
Yeah, but I'm lazy.
You are, but you're also productive. You don't miss days at work. Lazy people do.
That's because I know what my responsibility is at work. It took me a while to do that. I realized what a job is like later. Like I learned to learn what a job was, and you can say it to any young person. They
For sure.
Just show up. Yep. They don't know what you mean, but you just show up. Like you have to fucking learn that. Yeah. You're in your 30s. You like whatever. Every now and then a kid comes by who like has that kind of working ethic.
And you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. How surprising is it? Right. So I am that person. It's just taken. Now you see me at 54 years old,
Jay,
and I know how to be a man.
Jay,
but I don't like what
you can't say you are that person when you don't show any of those signs of being that person.
You are talking. We're talking now that I have never said to you I've missed work.
Yeah,
you say it.
It doesn't
like so. I'm not that person that you're saying I am.
Maybe you're not to where I am, but you're not to where the point where you. I don't think you're at the point where you're saying as well. I think you're somewhere in the middle. I think you like to be more productive than you believe you want to be.
It's a struggle.
How much of a struggle?
The fact that I haven't weighed myself in fucking like months.
Do you consider yourself stubborn?
Oh yeah.
Jay, I consider you not doing anything that you don't want to do.
That's a stubborn person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a stubborn person.
And you still end up being productive somehow.
How have I been productive in the last little bit?
Well, you had surgery. Would you say? You had surgery.
Yeah.
But you did all the things to make yourself heal better. There's lots of people and lots of examples of people who will not do that.
So this is me. That's why these kind of conversations help in that, like, because I've publicly stated my concern of my future self.
For sure.
And so, again, I'm a hypocrite and I don't do everything I say or whatever. Like I'm real close to being the guy who's not listening to Ozzy Osbourne about the drugs. You know what I mean? Like I'm real close to the guy that just wants to look at the colors all day.
I don't believe that.
Of course not, because I'm like, whatever.
I've never seen that.
I don't want to be that loser. Yeah, but that's the internal struggle. Like I'm trying to explain to you, like what, like, okay, maybe that's...
And the fact that you win that struggle means that you're not that person. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I hear you. So I'm so far removed from what like you're saying or whatever. Like I think you would have went back to work already if you were me. If you're talking like this. Like I'm still limping a bit.
How long has it been?
It's been 2 months. Like this yeah, probably
you're
2 months.
You're probably right.
Yeah, like I could, like I'm limping a bit and I could do, but you would have found a way.
Yeah,
You'd have been like, I
right.
want to show my face at work. I've missed, my finger has not been on this fucking, these cogs of this wheel for that long. I'm like that's not crossed my mind. Have I even hinted that I just even want to go and visit at anybody?
Nope.
Have I even hinted that I've fucking wanted, like none of it is.
But is that the difference between you working a lot longer than I have? Is that the difference of you're closer to retirement than I am?
Yeah, but I'm not your, but again, like to put it in your stepdad's like angle, like I am not looking to go like and do anything else. Like I am not looking to fucking
Neither
cut the
am
lawn
I.
fucking when it doesn't need to be. I'm not like going out there gardening. Like my whole like ravine at the back. Like I need to go to Home Depot and get a reciprocating saw blade to cut down a whole bunch of shit.
You want me to get one from work?
I was going to, but I thought, how stupid am I going to get caught stealing a fucking?
Just tell me, I'll grab it. I see you every Friday.
Okay, get me a wooden fucking reciprocating saw blade.
Come on, man.
I'll remind you for next week. I seriously was going to steal it from work, like weeks, like whenever I was at work before, because I knew this was going to happen. When I did it reluctantly before I was off work, sidecar, to do some gardening to get these big weeds cut and the fucking half a tree growing where it's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
I found his saw eventually in the long extension cord, but the saw was a dull old metal cutter. And so it couldn't cut through the fucking wood even properly. Yeah. And so at work, I noticed in the fucking vending machine, like a wood saw cutting blade. And this is how unhandy I am. I realized like, oh, all saw blades have the same end. Like I was like, oh, I have to match this all up. Like reciprocating saw blade is the same everywhere. So I'm like, oh, that'll fucking fit. Oh, I'm going to punch in my number and grab one of those. But again, this is how overthinking it. Like, what do I need this blade for at work? Like I've taken many things allegedly home from work that I don't necessarily allegedly need at work.
Allegedly, yeah.
And so this is just like fucking don't do it. Don't raise suspicions. What if that fucking retard in the fucking parts department sees that I took a blade?
That is true.
And they're going,
just bring it back.
Why are you going to bring
just use it and bring it back?
So anyway, I just thought I'd best to go to Home Depot and fucking that's how productive I am. I thought I can do this on my own. But now you're willing to get me one? I'll go get it. Yeah, but I haven't done it yet, Brian.
Oh shit.
I haven't done it yet.
We'll leave that part alone. I was like, starting to realize this story. I'm like, wait, he was at work?
I still haven't done it yet. I got fucking rose bushes overgrowing. Kids on their bike have to fucking duck under.
Let me amend my statement. I'm not saying you're a hyper productive person, okay?
Oh, now we get to backtrack. Yeah.
I'm just saying
who was right.
You're not as bad as you label yourself. As you label yourself. You're not as bad as you label yourself.
I'm not as bad as I'm scared to be that worst version of that.
Yeah, there's a million people who will not lose weight and will not get up and do exercise. There's a million people who even though you say, how often do you cut the grass?
Move on.
There's people who cut the grass way less than you do, Jay.
No, they don't.
Right? There's people who probably wouldn't even try to drive right now at this time. Right?
Yeah, but I'm not. Why look at the lowest example?
You have to look at both examples.
No, I don't. I think you're right. No, I'm okay, but
Jay,
I'm just defending.
You're a productive person. Maybe not super productive, but I think you're a productive person.
Compared to the worst thing you can think of.
Okay, at work, not very many people outwork you on the job. You're gonna say, "Oh, that's experience." No, it's not just experience because people can work the job and then they'll leave for like 2 hours and fuck around and do a whole bunch of shit and not be dedicated and finish up the job. When you're at work, you're actually, for the most part, depending on the job, looking forward to getting it out of the bay and seeing it done. People don't have that. Non-productive people don't have that in their mind.
But can you then just put that as like pride? Like I have enough pride in myself to make sure that I don't, like, you know what I mean, like show up a bit. I have enough pride in myself to make sure I get back on that bike.
Yeah.
I have enough pride in myself that I live with my wife. Like I can't make her do all those things. Mm-hmm. Like whoever doesn't have that, that's like not productive. That's just like you know what I mean? Like
for sure.
Like other words like come into play.
But there's a lot of lazy people who have a lot of pride too. Unproductive people who have pride. Their pride is
fucking whatever, misplaced. But I don't.
For sure.
That's fine. I'm not delusional. I'm trying to be. If I listen to everything that you were just saying, and I'm not making a bigger thing, then I would think I would more delusional.
No, you're not delusional.
Brian's right. I am the most productive person I can think of.
No, you're not, Jay.
Like, you know what? Like Brian's right. I do like I'm fighting back in a way because this is how I feel. Like, this. Only because it wasn't so much this week. It might have been a little last week. Like this, again, being able to drive, finally actually concentrating on these exercises and stuff. I feel free enough to do this for the first time since I've been off. Mm-hmm. Like I might have been able to stretch that a couple weeks ago, but with the fucking, like the IV, like the infection or whatever. Like this is where I kind of was hoping to be mentally, like maybe 3 weeks ago. And I was feeling a little bit down that I wasn't. So like, this is exactly how I wanted everything to go. Like when I was at home at work thinking like, how is this going to be? Like feeling well enough to exercise for like almost an hour and a half. Like I'm getting faster doing my things, but exercising for like an hour and a half, getting the bike, then grabbing my coffee and then fucking coming back and having a little sip of that coffee and then feeling a bit of a second wind. And then you know what? Do some more exercises, hop on that bike again, and then go shower and fucking then go start to eat. And then you're really gonna like have a smoke and fucking whatever.
Sounds like a productive day.
And so that's what I've got to do all week.
Sounds like a productive week.
For who?
For you.
Yeah. So if you want to call that productive, then I am the A+ list. Yeah, I'll whatever agree with you for that reason, but
Jay is not going to agree with me at all.
Okay,
fine.
No, you're right. I will agree that this is what I was hoping my week would entail.
So you were hoping to have a productive week, but you're not a productive. Come on, Jay.
Okay, that's fine. You wouldn't have before this conversation
more than I did this week.
I wouldn't have called this.
You left the house more than I did this week.
No, I didn't. Well, maybe, yeah. Okay, I'm going to backtrack. I had the most productive week ever. Okay? Like, yeah. I
you know what? I'm taking it.
If you want to call it like that, I feel
and you
the ability,
like it.
And yes, I feel the ability to piggyback off of this production week and have an even better week next week. I feel that I've just set myself, just like we don't know how to schedule these the music. You know what I mean? Like this is all, like pull the curtain back, people. This is less professional than you're going to get on other podcasts. Like we trial and error it. And so we how are we going to fit this into the thing? We kind of know what we want to do, but we don't know the best way to fucking do it, right? Yep. And so we muddle our way into it somehow, whatever feels more natural. So I'm trying to feel like a more natural way to do this. Mm-hmm. And I'm fighting the natural way to just lie in bed all day, right? And then it's then you got to start your exercises at 11. Like what Tammy's going to come home and you still haven't done anything? Like what's up with that, right? Okay. So I could piggyback off of that, but none of it has anything to do with anything being more productive outside of my house and myself.
It just starts somewhere.
I guess part of it is too a little bit. So I have a going back to work date cemented in sand.
Oh yes. Now. What is the date, Jay?
Well, you're not going to like it, but I'm
putting it in my calendar. What is it?
I have to look at my calendar too. It will be on Monday.
Nice.
November.
What?
18th.
Holy, what the hell? What the fuck is that?
That's when I'm coming back to work, motherfucker.
November 18th?
Yeah, what date is it today? September 18th?
Jesus.
So
you have a whole 2 months? This is unacceptable. I need to talk to Mo.
I've already talked to Mo.
I'm going to tell him this is unacceptable.
Mo is my fucking my second bestest friend, maybe my bestest friend.
What?
Work these days.
This is unacceptable.
So, yeah, I can see what you're saying. But this is I'm fucking so happy with that. I can't tell you. Yes, putting the date in stone. So maybe part of this productive person that you're talking about, I was riddled with guilt about wanting to maybe do this. Because
nobody can see
I didn't want to be compared to somebody that would just automatically do this or try to get away with something. Not even thinking of the productive guys we do have at work that go to India for 4 months because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Or fucking, not they, but some people.
Yeah,
and
some people.
And so, just not realizing it's okay to do something like that or whatever, have these kind of selfish thoughts. So if I've judged other people on that, I didn't want to be judged in the same way or was concerned about it. I was never concerned that I was going to get told no on anything.
Yeah.
I've got my place in there. This might get my toolbox moved from where it is if I tell them I'm not going to come back for this late. And I've never talked to any of the other bosses about anything. And there is a bad line of communication. So I'm using that as to my advantage.
Yeah.
Not that I have to use everybody to know, but so I have I get 4 weeks of vacation every year. And when I found out that I had to take unemployment for this sick thing, I did feel a certain way. I don't know who to blame, but I felt like I've put nothing but years of money into fucking benefit plans. And if this doesn't cover a long-term
that's kind of messed up.
I fucking despised it. Yep. I don't know. There's nobody to hate. I hate insurance companies for it. This is how do you define long-term care? So the fact that they made me take a fucking, I was made to take go on unemployment for this, and none of my other cachet got to fucking be cashed in.
Well, you put a lot of money in unemployment too.
No, I get it. No, that's fine. But now I'm only getting 50% of my fucking pay.
That's bullshit.
Right? So whenever that was decided, Mo said, you can use your vacation. You know what I mean? If you were only off for a month and you had a month vacation and you didn't want to go on unemployment and take that pay cut, you could take your vacation and then you would just get your full pay and you just wouldn't have any vacation.
Yeah.
I'm I love my vacation. This is not stepping into my vacation time if I can afford not to. And so we figured out a way to fucking make the unemployment part in our budget or whatever. So I'm I'm not using any of my vacation. So now I'm going to see the surgeon again. Like I could go back to work in like my next appointment with the doctor is like in October 23rd. So if there was no other vacation or none of this other shit that I'm about to talk about, I would probably go back to work on October 28th. Mm-hmm. I'd be cleared to go, and there we go. But I'm not leaving my vacation on the fucking table. Like Tammy's, I've said it before in the show. I've said it to you before. Like she's been taking care of me like a lot. Like she's not had a vacation while I'm been off for 2 months and about to be off for another 2 months.
Yeah.
Like she's not been able to do anything. I'm just barely now able to fucking help out with cooking and fucking cleaning the house, like helping her clean the house. I hate doing all that shit, but I have the ability to now.
You do.
Having her come home and doing extra shit, like it sucks because she's doing all the work. So I want to step up in that way because I'm so productive. And and so yeah, so I come 28th. Like I can't leave the country either until I'm off unemployment.
Yeah.
So I'm going off unemployment on like October 24th, like on the Thursday. So I called Mo and I said the email to Mo. I said, yeah, everything's going good. Say whatever, fucking, it's a compliment sandwich or whatever. Say my infection's kind of gone, doing more exercise, feeling really good. The doctor's like really happy with the progress. My next appointment is to see him on the 23rd, where I think we'll be cleared. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he even said. I just said my next appointment is on the 23rd, and I think that's when I'm going to stop the EI. The unemployment insurance. I go, but I was going to do my 3 weeks of vacation after that, starting from that date to that date, coming back to work on Monday, November 18th.
Yep.
And sent it. And I'm like, okay, it's gone. So part of me thinking like this.
And these are your last 3 weeks, right?
What?
The last 3 weeks you have left.
Yes. And a day.
And a day.
Yeah.
You're using all of them?
Yes.
Okay.
Except for the day. I'll use that at Christmas.
Okay.
So I got these 3 weeks left, right? So I'm thinking, fuck it. And so still want to go on vacation. So I'm like, okay, well, I can't leave the country till I'm on vacation. So I'm going to cut unemployment off like the 24th of October and then go on vacation after that. I didn't tell, like, I'm just saying, I just want my vacation money then. For all they know, I still just need time to fucking recover or whatever.
Yep,
I have it.
Sure.
I have it coming to me. They can't deny me or whatever. So I was like, are they going to say that's too much time?
No way.
Are they going to, like, a real paranoid part of me was like, fuck, what are they going to do? Come back? And so, but I also can imagine like Ryan and Nicole seeing that email and just like, God damn. Like just because I have a scheduling way or like I even see on your emails now, like we're hiring.
Yeah.
Like they're going to miss it. God, not anything negative to me, even just a negative fact. Oh, we're going to miss him for another 3 weeks. And then even again, this fucking at the very worst, this motherfucker's off for another fucking like how long? So I don't care. Like there's no repercussions of it other than them having a negative feeling about me for that little minute. Which I don't
think they will.
I know that's more of a paranoid thought and I don't care.
It's not like, I think it would be a little different if you went away and then you came back for like 2 weeks and you're like, you know what? I'm going to take 4 weeks off now. I think it would be a little different, but the fact that you're already off and then you're still planned to be off, it's not like, you know.
He told me that I can use part of my vacation for this process.
For sure.
No, I've done, that's why I love the process.
Yeah.
I love the HR guy. Like if this was years ago and it was fucking, what's her face? Robin in there and do all, like it would be way less cut and dry.
Yeah.
It would be way less communication back at me and I wouldn't feel that I've crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's. You know what I mean? There would be less of an officialness to it all. Mm-hmm. But yeah, but I feel it. So I just like, okay, so I'm going to do that now. I'm going to do that. And so, so once that all got, he sent me an email back. Like I'm waiting like on the phone for him to email me back to make sure it's all good. And I'm, the next day he emails back, said, it's all good. We'll see you then type of thing. Tells me I got a raise.
Oh
you know, like it sends me the letter that everybody got the raise for. I'm like, this is fucking great. You know, like whatever, I'll take that. I'm no Ron, but I'll take that. And, and so, so then, yeah, we've already got a house booked in Florida.
Nice.
And we've got it all straightened out. And so I was just going to take the 2 weeks and then come back and then go. But then when am I going to use that other week? I get real anxious about coming back to work in the best of times, even just taking 2 weeks off. I get like, fuck it for some reason. Like, and I can't imagine what it's going to be like now. But she said like, yeah, like take that other week after the vacation so you can fucking ease your way back into before you go to work.
So you're going to take 2 weeks. You're going to go to Florida for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Then you're going to come back and have another 2 weeks.
No, week.
A week.
Yeah.
So where's your 4 weeks?
I've already used
before.
Yeah, I've already used a week. I only have 3
4
left.
weeks total. Yeah,
sorry. I have 4 weeks total.
Yeah.
And I've used 1 week, 4 days randomly.
Yeah.
Like at football and all that.
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't. Like, that's why I asked you how many days I have left to check for me last week.
Yeah.
Because I knew you have nothing better to do and you can get on the computer and
I had to walk from the other side of the shop to do that, but no biggie.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you've stopped production. You're as productive as guy as you are. Sure, you can fit it into your schedule.
Of course.
So I'm even more on cloud nine. Like I am fucking like I don't know if I sound negative in any kind of way, but I'm as far from a negative version of myself as you can get.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm fucking hyped, man.
I love it.
So I feel it all. I feel all that goodness.
When are you doing the other hip?
I don't know, man. I'm not
next year. Go for it.
No, I can't. It'll be years before I can put her through this again and myself through this again. I don't know when I'm going to feel strong enough to do all that. I have such a newfound respect for surgery in general and recovery and I don't even know how to say it. Like we're just, like your expectation is you can always get it fixed, right? Like always. Like I got an asthma puffer. If I lose my breath, fucking, you know what I mean? Like always get it fixed.
Yep.
Like, you got bad hips, yeah, just go for surgery. You know what I mean? And then you fucking, what's an infection? Oh, so many motherfuckers get infections after surgery. Like it's such a huge, like it's actually like the real thing to be fucking concerned with.
Yeah.
Tammy knows these things and all that, but just like, it's fucking no problem whatsoever. Like the recovery is still happening large. Like I don't know if I want to put my body through that again. Like I really don't know. Like my other hip is nowhere near as bad as my other one was. And I do feel free, like a lot, like the joint pain is gone. It's just this muscle pain and it's getting strength back, which I admit before, like I didn't have in the first place. You know what I mean? Like a lot of it was like muscle weakness to begin with. Right?
Yep.
Like this all just didn't happen because of the surgery. But now the whatever it is, right? So, but I never really concentrated on it. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can ever. I hope to not even deal with the other shit.
Okay.
As bad as they are, like part of me was like, oh fuck it, just get all 4 tires, your both knees, your both hips, like just get them all fucking done. Let technology take over. But I don't know if I want to deal this recovery again.
It was that bad?
It wasn't great, bro.
Of course, it's not going to be great.
It wasn't great. Like, yeah, I do think everybody will tell you it's worth it, but to what extent? Like, am I going to make like my house? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I can't take fucking 3 months off again anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe 3 years from now. Like, it's budget wise. Like,
that's still not bad. That's still not bad.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, part of me, if I can get away with just dealing with the pain and the rest of my joints, then I might try. Like I might just do that. Or at the very least, like you want to talk about motivation or whatever. Like I've said it before, like I have to get my body ready to fucking have surgery.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just be a fucking just okay, here we go. Like, you know what I mean? Like I said, all the little sit-ups and push-ups and leg lifts that I did, I would be fucked if I didn't do.
Could you imagine?
But now I have to do it all for the other side, which is way off than the other one. And like purposeful. So I don't like, am I going to have to just do like a one-legged fucking squat before I like admit to the feeling that I can actually maybe get some work on the other leg before I do that?
Maybe.
Yeah,
who knows?
maybe.
But you could at least in this way, you can prepare, prepare. Yeah.
You're right. So that's what I'm thinking about with this. Like my thought is that everything is an easy fix to the surgeon. Just go get it done. Like I realize that like, yeah, like I'm not as confident as I am that it worked. I don't know if it's just proper to rely on it. Like, you know what I mean? If I need it, I need it.
Yeah.
But if I don't, if I can get away with it, like it's not as cut and dry surgery. It's not as like a no-brainer as I thought when I did this, or like have the feeling. Like maybe because I'm still in this recovery, like I want to respect. Like I needed to put a little bit more respect on this whole process, and I think I did.
That's fair.
I think it's just like, sure, give me a new hip, And I did. Like I said, I did think of that, but I don't know. I just don't know if I can, go through all this process again.
That's fair. That's what women say when they give birth, and then like, I don't want to do this again, and then they have like 3 kids.
You're right. I hear you. You're right, but their motivation is different.
What?
They want to fucking further their, like, I don't know what the fuck their motivation is.
Yeah, neither do I. I'm just like, holy, like, why would you even?
Well, my motivation was I wanted to I needed to walk better.
Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, like if it gets to that point, then I might have to do it again. But when I see him for the next time, or if that's like kind of the last part of this like process, I would imagine like we're going to end it somehow if he says, so what do you want to do about like anything else? Is like, how's it bothering you? He's not going to remember exactly the shape of my knees or hips or otherwise, but it's like, it's a given that if you're having one side done, you're going to have the other, because everybody's even like people have mentioned it in the hospital. Oh, is this your first? Is this like your first hip or your second hip? Yeah. So I'm not like planning on like scheduling a date for it or anything like that.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that this new motivated person that's like was on the bike for the most time he's ever been for like a one day and starting to do his other exercises again day, like grows as a person and then gets to a point where I can feel comfortable having the surgery again, or maybe I get to a point where it doesn't bother me as much and I can go. But I'm not planning on it anytime soon.
It's just 2 months.
What do you mean?
It's only been 2 months since you had your surgery, so I imagine.
Like a chick with childbirth, I'm going to change my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, once I'm sick of work again for fucking another year and a half of work. Like, how do I
you're
get
sick of work, your hip is great, and then you're like, fuck, this hip was the best hip last time, and now my other hip is way better. You know what? Let me just go get that bionic hip in.
I think my knees are worse than my other hip.
Oh, knees are going to suck.
Yeah, I think so. That's a whole other process.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just saying it's not as cut and dry as I thought it was going to be. Like, I'll automatically do all this. But yeah, part of this process was that I was going to continue doing it. But like, it's more like I said, the other people you wouldn't think. I can't put the whole burden of taking care of the house and the bills.
That's fair.
And shit like that on her. And so, but you know, whatever. It's all good. Like I said, it's all coming into play.
Yeah,
we got more real world things. I know we talked before about Diddy, but now we've really got busted.
Diddy,
like your girl's in the news again.
Yeah,
for taking down the fucking most powerful mogul in music.
Yeah,
was he just like the once most powerful person in music, or was he ever the most powerful in music? Is that like an overreach?
No, he was pretty powerful, and
he was everywhere at a point.
Yeah. He has a lot of things going on. He is a billionaire, right? So
yeah, they always tend to have a lot of things going on.
Yeah, right.
So does this change anything for you? Like now that he's like officially been indicted or whatever it is?
No, he lost everything once I seen that video.
Can't because mess with of who he was
girl.
With, right?
Can't mess with my baby girl.
So are you gleefully watching the fall of Diddy?
I mean, it's hard to. It's all about. I just sometimes wonder about conspiracies of it all, right? Like if they're trying to, because there's always conspiracy and rumors going around that they just try to take him down, because a lot of people have been taken down by the quote unquote Me Too movement. This is a little further than that, but a lot of people recently have been taken down out of the music industry because of it, right? But at the same time, I think I said previously, there's always been rumors of Diddy's parties for decades. So same thing with the R. Kelly thing. Those rumors have just been around, and everybody in the hip hop world and probably outside of hip hop had ideas about what Diddy's been going through. So me personally, I'm just like, I don't really care. I know Diddy's an icon and whatnot, but he was never like my cup of tea, really.
I'm more concerned, more interested in like the conspiracy theory part of it, because this is another problem with not working for too long. You fall into these conspiracies. You want to fucking believe almost everything you see. And I haven't really paid that much attention to it at all. Like part of like these sex conspiracy things is they're just too icky and creepy for me. Mm-hmm. Like it's really like kind of what turns me off of the whole Epstein thing. Like who his clients were and all that. It's kind of interesting and all that. It gets lost at how many like victims were like preyed upon, like when it happens. Like they're not part of the story. I know they are some of the story and all that, but it's just like whatever, right? Like it's more of how these rich and powerful just get to dispose of fucking people.
That's the thing. Like the Epstein angle, like I don't know if they're painting Diddy to be like that bad. Like I said, I'm not for Diddy at all, okay? But I don't think he's like Epstein type thing. His whole thing was just having really weird sex parties with guys and girls.
No,
not minors and all these kind of stuff.
Well, I don't know about that. Like, I think that's how some of the minors in music, like, were, associated with him at certain times.
Possibly, but for the most part, they were like girlfriends and sex workers. And the fact that like he got charged with the trafficking because he flew sex workers from other parts of the states and stuff like that. So that's sex trafficking and whatnot, and he was like blackmailing and like forcefully doing it. So that's part of sex trafficking. It's not like he was shipping them in containers. You know what I mean?
No, there's degrees. I know he's not a Russian mobster.
Yeah,
12-year-old girls in containers. But the problem with the difference is it
$1,000 bottles of lube.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, that's not illegal.
Exactly.
Like, it's not illegal. Like,
it's just freaky.
Yeah, that's fine. But like the forced nature of it all, like it does become
blackmailing.
Kidnapping. Like, it does become like nefarious in a way. Like, it's not an innocent little freaky party.
Absolutely.
Like, it's no problem. Like, fucking freak parties. Like, it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like when it becomes rich and powerful people abusing lesser than,
drugging people.
Yeah, like you can call anybody a sex worker, just taking them off the street and saying she's, you know what I mean, like sells her body. Like, you don't know. Like, there's just a runaway. Like, she's just a fucking
exactly.
Like, it's not like. And so it becomes different because the Epstein thing is these are the most powerful people in the world, like the kings of fucking England and fucking.
Well, that's what they're saying about Diddy. They're saying he had video because they said he has videos of all the rooms and stuff, and he has videos of countless celebrities and high profile people and powerful people. So
this is what I was where I want to get to in a way is because the whole Epstein thing is just like it's unfinished story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, nobody thinks he killed or whatever. You can say like died in mysterious ways in jail at the very fucking gentle, like the nicest way.
Yeah.
And have this and the client is like nobody's come out, nobody else has been arrested for this. Like, nobody else, like because the power people involved, they can hide the consequences of their actions in this. So now you come to this where it's like powerful people, but it's entertainment power. It might be other people too, but way less consequence. It's not the president.
They said
no, they could be there too. That's what I'm saying. So then it becomes in. It's like I have all this knowledge now. Like, it's not just come to my party and have a fucking freaky good time. It's like, come to my party, let me get you in a compromising position, and now you have to do what I say.
Yep, there's apparently rumors that the Barack Obama was there and stuff. They have videos of him. So they're saying, who knows?
Yeah,
right?
that's a problem. I don't want to get in the nitty gritty of it.
But it's a lot of people, and like. But I heard this one conspiracy because if we know about Diddy, he had like this whole partnership with the Ciroc brand. Like, that was his whole vodka. Was all Diddy, and then he ended up suing that company and going to another company, and then they're saying this conspiracy is saying that they wanted to take him down too because he was making like tens of millions of dollars a year just off. He didn't own the brand, but he was like a ambassador
associated with it,
and so he was making tens of millions of dollars a year. And obviously, if he's making, they said like 60, 70, 80 million dollars a year just being a brand ambassador for Ciroc. So obviously they're making way more money than that. And so there's this whole lawsuit. I remember when the lawsuit happened, and like they're saying that these guys, they have connections. They want to get rid of Diddy too. It's a little far-fetched, but like, is that things like those kind of things seem plausible in these kind of high society worlds? Like these, when you have even in any workplace, you have connections and you can somewhat screw people over, right? So imagine in like a whole industry where you're known and you can just screw people over.
That's a good way to put it. Like you're right. Like on one hand, like if it's like, why is a huge vodka company really going to care about a $10 million thing? It's just like annoying, and it could be a thing that they leave a bad taste in their mouth. You know what I mean? Like business wise.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be the be all and end all of, oh, we have to take this guy down because he's going to take us down. Be like, oh, I like a piece of that business.
Yeah.
Like it's where business kind of meets business, right? But when you're just like, it's kind of annoying. But then when you have like knowledge, like, yeah, but you know what? We know this guy. Like this guy, we can bring this guy down.
Yeah.
Like it's just like
teach him a lesson.
Yeah, or just whatever. And then we'll get a bit of that business. Like it's just a way to take one of your enemies out. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think it's a conspiracy. Like, you still did all the bullshit to put yourself in a bad spot.
But he's been doing it for years and it never came out.
It's different in a workplace where like if we like say somebody's a slime ball for saying like this person's talking on their phone while they're fucking talking on their phone too, or like Booby writing notes about everybody. Like he's grown. Like you gotta get out of that. Like nobody wants to work with that type of person. You're going to be working alone. Like that's just it's not going to work. Like it doesn't keep going like that. So you can do it for so long, right? But just like let it go, whatever, let it go. Like don't be so involved. If you want that person to be known that they're not pulling their weight or doing something they're good, eventually they'll be found out. So it'll just be like, but it's not a consequence to you. If you want Diddy's business, like his percentage of that business, then I can see, pushing like authorities like just for pissing you off for that.
The problem with that was the company that owns Ciroc is they own several liquors, and Diddy is sued them while he was with them for more money, and he ended up not working with them anymore. And apparently Ciroc was bringing them a lot of money, so they lost that part of the business because of Diddy. And it's just part of their whole portfolio. Their company, I remember seeing their company that owns Ciroc is worth like $5-6 billion. Jesus. So they had a problem with that. Apparently, that's just one of the conspiracies.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's like, it's not that far-fetched. It is, but is it?
I think it's less far-fetched than a disgruntled fucking rival wanting to fucking get over on him. Or just to fucking like... Somebody like that, they could have been investigating them for so long, and they just eventually fucking say, okay, here, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to come out with it now. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no benefit to the authorities to fucking just let him go on with things like that.
Absolutely.
If they do that. Like, if you're like, people just love taking powerful people down.
Absolutely.
But if you do it, if you put yourself in a position to be out there, then, you know what I mean? Like, fucking, you're going to get taken down. Like, I just even think of like somebody like Jordan. His gambling issues followed him, and like some people think that's why his dad was killed and all that. But he never fucking exaggerated those problems. You know what I mean? You could say he's not a good basketball owner, but like he tried, but you know what I mean? Like, but he never was like the fucking owner that was telling the guy to hire this GM, that GM. Like, he never used his influence in any kind of way.
That's
so
true.
nobody's looking for bad things for him.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying he's doing this, that, or the other. They can say he's not the best, you know what I mean? Like I said, the good basketball owner doing all that, but he's not out there. He's more of a private person, so you don't really lend yourself to that kind of downfall.
That is true.
His downfall, if there is one, is just getting old and out of the game in a way. He's not like put himself out there like that. So, and in that, so I think it's almost, by the time it gets to a point like that, like just like in Epstein, like it's hard to find out everything that's going to be really happening, but I think it's almost all true.
Yeah.
I think it's almost all true.
I agree.
It can't help but not be.
I agree. Did you see somebody won a lawsuit against Diddy? Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
One of the victims in the case was suing him, and they won $100 million from Diddy.
Victims, like, so they were like,
it was a guy.
They were trapped.
He was forced to do sex stuff for Diddy. He was a DJ, a producer for a Bad Boy, and he ended up suing him and being awarded $100 million.
Yeah, see, like it's not like it's there's so many people like that you never hear. Like, those are the victims.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like the celebrity parties.
Yeah.
It's the people that they put on a plane and just said they're just sex workers. Like, they could have fucking just been a girl on her way to school or something. You know what I mean?
Honestly.
Like, fucking anything. And you have to protect that kind of shit.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's fucking weird that just some fucking random pop, you know what I mean? Like, now we feel a certain way if you put a Diddy song to listen to beforehand. Like, it just it brings all this other shit into the fucking picture. And I don't know. I think it might even be like a sign of the times, not just brand new sign of the times or whatever, but just like the J. Cole song. Like, I just wondered how old he was, talking about like fucking a high school girl and like all that. Like, I'm sure he's talking about being a high school boy too. Yeah. But if he's like reminiscing about the story when he's like 42 or something, it just seems a little creepier to me. Like, if you heard this song, you know what I mean? Like, between like 15 and 20, it's like, oh yeah, I can get it. But if you're like, oh man, yeah, I relate to that, 32, hearing that song for the first time, it just, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying there's anything bad to it.
No.
Like, I'm just saying,
different perspective.
But it's always been part of the music industry. He's not saying anything to be part of music, but the amount of songs you can go back and to listen to about like fucking roadies and fucking like 16-year-old, 17-year-old girls, like something you're not singing about anymore, that were like all part of the, you know what I mean? Like the songs back in the day and celebrating that kind of stuff. It's just not as, it just doesn't come across as savory or shit anymore.
Yeah.
But they've been going on fucking since the beginning of time.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, but so does that stuff just stop, or do you just stop talking about it, or do you just take that whole industry out?
I don't think you take it out at all, because
sex and drugs and rock and roll are always going to be there.
And especially like when they're I love when people are just talking about their experiences. Like, I'm listening, like you're talking about your shit, like what's happening in the moment or all this. I just love it. Like, you don't get any insight. You really don't get any insights into artists. The only way musical artists, the only way or any artist, the only way insight you get in their life is what they put out.
That's a great
their
point.
Paintings, their drawings, their music. They're telling you what they're going through and the stuff that they're going through. And if you really want to know about them, that's what you have to listen to.
That's, in listening to your song in that light there, that's fucking all you could ask. That's a great example of that. Yeah, you're right. That makes the song even better when you think of it like that. definitely growing on me more. The only other thing, again, this is my stupid Twitter feed or whatever. Do you have any other thoughts like on these U.S. elections? Like, I know it's a whole sidebar thing. Like, I do believe that he got assassinated attempt again at all.
I don't know if maybe.
I don't believe any of it.
I don't know
what to believe.
Exactly. That's
like,
the
you feel that
problem.
way?
It feels like it's just like it just seems like it's like a whole show.
Like, I'm going to be in America when they have their vote. Like, I
really
vote? Don't want to be.
You should go try and vote.
We can't because this is a contention between us. We don't vote here because usually we vote on the opposite side of things. So we don't want to stand up in a lineup and I vote red, she votes blue, and then we get out there. Very rarely have we voted at the same time. I vote differently all the time. Yeah. She tends to stay on the one side. I never thought I would say this 8 years ago or whatever. Like, if I had to, I would vote for Trump. Because I can't stand the other choice put in front of me. Not that I hate her, but as a person, I don't really know her. But the fact that she just was given, like, you know what I mean? Like, just dropped out and you get to be now the candidate. Like, there's no vetting whatsoever of other candidates. The fact, I've been down on the Democrats ever since they fucked Bernie Sanders over. Yeah. Like, the whole Democratic convention thing, like, they forced Hillary Clinton in there. Like, I'm not sexist. I don't mind a fucking woman fucking power. Like, we want power, take it. It's fine. But they fucked over Bernie Sanders and they got Trump instead. And everything they've done since then makes me fucking confused.
I agree. I mean, I get she's the vice president, so naturally they're just like, okay, well, you're the vice president, you're the leader of the party now, right? Yeah. But she's the vice president. She's the vice president. You mean you couldn't really cut it? You couldn't really. I wouldn't even. She didn't even go on the campaign trail in the beginning when
they just get picked.
Exactly. So it's like, you didn't earn your way up there.
I feel that.
You didn't earn your way up. You were just picked because of whatever political ties or whatever social agenda that you wanted to push.
Yes.
And now you're there. Yeah. And then now all of a sudden you're
the only choice.
Exactly.
Like, we have to use you or we take the devil. Yeah. I hate being put in that position. I think they're both the devil, but the same with you just said, like, she hasn't earned it. Yeah. And I just like the whole process of what they go through. And I hate hearing things like, oh, like, put me in power and, then I can start to do this. What have you done while you were in power? Exactly. Like, the fact that you haven't done anything.
You were already, literally
when George Bush, the Jr. was in power, like, was the president, we all knew fucking Dick Cheney, the vice president, was the one pulling the strings. Right. So why don't we have that opinion of you?
She can do it now. That's all the shit she's promising, she can do it right now.
That's really where I'm coming from on this. All the things you say you could do, you could have done already. Yeah. And you don't. This is what you've been presenting us with. And I fucking just I rage against the choice. Like, really, I don't care that much. I wouldn't probably vote at all.
It's just annoying.
It's just annoying. Like, I hate him so much, Brian. I hate everything about him. I feel like as a blustery, powerful politician look thing, like, he has all these things, but he is still the fucking dopey fucking real estate guy from the 80s for me. Yeah. He's all bluster. Yeah. Like, I don't think he's the greatest thing for the country other than he's not her. And I fucking, like, I just see that. I don't want to praise him at all. I don't think anything he does is great. I think it's better than what she is going to do. Or I'm just not, I have confidence in her.
I kind of agree, unless he screws over Canada again, but I kind of agree.
I don't think he can. I don't think anything that he's more, all they do is just bluster more. His blusters are not as, negatively, they're not as bad as they can be, and positively, they're not as bad as they can be.
I mean, the tariffs kind of screwed us over when he was in power before, but you know what the problem is? Because of that, the problem is we had Trudeau, and he cannot stand with people like that.
He has to put up a front of it.
But he can't, he just seems, I don't think Trudeau's as bad as everybody makes. He's pretty terrible. I don't think he's as bad as everybody makes, but when you see all the other world leaders who are, how do I say this? They don't really put off that I'm a bitch vibe, and Trudeau does put that off, and I can't stand. That's one thing I really can't stand, because it just seems like you're just going to get pushed around. You can't handle they're all, regardless how we feel about them, to make it into that position, they're all alpha males, and I don't think Trudeau is that.
Yeah, I don't think,
or alpha females.
I don't think any of my, there's not a politician, there's not a prime minister that I can think of that has come across as an alpha male. Harper is not.
Jean-Christian was pretty decent.
I found him fucking just a fucking cantankerous old man who had his fucking own. I hated the liberal agenda on that side. Yeah. I fucking could not stand. He's just a fucking he was a way better Trudeau version of Trudeau.
I was about to say.
Yeah, he's just everybody since then has just been a pale fucking comparison of a leader. Nobody's excited me as a leader
Recently,
ever.
who did we have last? I can't remember.
It doesn't matter. See,
Yeah.
They don't fucking. They don't. We had Stephen Harper.
Oh fuck yeah, fuck that guy.
Right? Like, whatever. What is he? Just a fucking ordinary fucking person.
Yeah,
and they just argue about both the same fucking things.
Yeah.
He said no weed, and the other guy said weed. So I'll take the guy who said weed.
Yeah.
Right. And that was it. And so I don't care about anything else. Again, one fucking thing. So I just the rhetoric is building up, and I just wondered, like you had an opinion. You know, I mean, I knew you would have opinion, but
we're in the same boat with trash freaking.
I have to avoid. Like all the rhetoric on fucking Twitter. Like I do feel like I was taken with that Haitian fucking migrants eating fucking cats. Like I have I've checked myself a bit on how I'm watching Twitter now. Like I'm just fucking scrolling through fucking almost everything because I don't want to invest in it.
Remember we talked about it. You have to just try and force to change your algorithm. You just have to.
I've been back and forth. I'm trying more football, but anyway, it's on there.
It's so hard. It's so annoying.
This is why I bring up fucking Diddy and the elections. The other thing that was in my Twitter fucking thing this week, I'm sure you know this. What do you think about the pagers blowing up in fucking Hamas?
That is freaking genius. Number one. How do you pull something like that off? And then they did walkie-talkies after that. Like, how do you pull something that? There's always rumors of Mossad.
Yeah, it's like the
being like
service.
One of the best secret agencies out there, like even higher than KGB and all those other guys. But because I've seen a lot of documentaries on them, and it's like, yeah, this kind of shit that they pull is kind of crazy. But to actually see it happen in real time, in real life. And I think it's crazy.
So I think everybody would kind of know it, but just in case you didn't know, like, so,
oh yes,
I guess earlier in the beginning of the week, just people's fucking pagers started exploding.
People.
No. So in the Gaza Strip or wherever in Palestine, people well, I'm just because I'm just trying to see how the whole news story started.
Where was it?
I didn't think it was any
other. It's Hezbollah. It's the Hezbollah group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this is what. Yeah. So I mean, it was targeted attack.
Yes.
But the Hezbollah group, a lot of a certain percentage of their employees,
yes,
members,
agents,
teams, were their pagers blew up in their pockets, and they didn't kill them, but they just fucking mooned them, but blew their nuts off. Whatever would happen to you with a pager blowing up in your pockets.
Actually, you know what's funny? Sorry, but they said that they had made a delay between the explosions so that they would bring the pager up to their face and then it would explode. But obviously, it didn't work out in all situations because sometimes people just ignore it.
You're just not going to do that.
Yeah,
they're so used to the pager going
off.
But
they had a delay so that it would give them time to break. Isn't that crazy?
So at first, there's confusion. What's going on? Like I'm guessing, like by the time I read it, they kind of knew they took responsibility. Like the Mossad said what they did, right? And so I guess the story is that the Israeli CIA basically is knew where the Hezbollah gets their fucking equipment from,
intercepted them.
So they waited till they left the pager factory.
Yeah,
they didn't. Nuts. So they didn't do this in the pager factory.
The pager factory said they did not have anything to do with it, but I mean, you have to some inside job. How do you not? I
think that they're probably legally get to say that. I don't know if that's possible. Because I don't think the Israeli CIA would have to not worry. Like I think that they would involve them or whatever, get in on that, or have an agent in there. If they can have an agent in the fucking Hezbollah, they're gonna have an agent in the fucking paging factory.
For sure.
Right? And then so they're gonna fucking know that, and they're gonna set it in there. I have little mixed feelings on it. I think it's fucking amazing. Like you said, what strategy?
Yeah.
Like, what a way to get them. I have zero empathy for the people they did it to.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm not trying to pick a side on this. Right.
Yeah.
Like, but these assuming that these are terrorists they're going after, they're doing it. But this is the problem where I have, and again, I'm not trying to adopt a problem that I found on Twitter with this. It's just like, what an abuse of power. Like, never mind a government agency like already listening to our phone calls, or you know what I mean, like everything else that we don't want overreach of the government to do. Now we're celebrating the government fucking planting in a public device now
and injuring innocent people as well, bystanders and
like
shit.
Never mind blind drone bombings. Like we already kind of turn a blind eye to that, or we just like don't research it. We just kind of, oh yeah, I guess that goes on. But we haven't had an hour podcast about it. Like, it's how depressing is that? But I've heard our podcasts about it, and yeah, a lot of weddings get blown up where they're going from one guy off of like a cell phone information.
Collateral damage, man.
Yeah, I hear you, right? But I don't know if it's right. Like, I don't want to celebrate it.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to, like I said, like, I find the overreach of you being able, so like now you can justify putting it in my phone. If I just said now that I'm all about Trump, like, what if some crazy fucking leftist fucking thing uses that as justification to take down a fucking Trump's fucking army? And now my phone, like, you know what I mean? Like they target, they know you're getting the next Google phone. How do I intercept that and fucking put a bomb in it? So it's one thing to know that it's going to the right people, but like, how many didn't? Like, how many could have? Like, I think it's I don't know.
I think it would be on, but I mean, I hear what you're saying. Because yeah, you could do a lot of damage with that kind of strategy and whatnot. But I think at this high of a level, they're fairly certain that their targets are correct, and also, at that high level, like you said, they're not caring about collateral damage. They don't care about if you kill 20 top agents and then you accidentally kill 30 bystanders. That's inconsequential to them, right?
I'm not saying so. Like, how does that make you feel? Like, saying that, like, is it just something we have to ignore for the cost of whatever this war is?
I honestly think that's just the cost of war. Realistically, that's just how it is.
I agree. I don't want to put it on you. Like, I agree. I would say the exact same thing. Because I got nothing but time. Saying that, though, I just diffuses me of all response. Like, not that I did anything for this.
No,
but it makes me feel like
we're so far removed from that kind of a thing, right?
Yeah, I'm overthinking it. Like, a lot of things, it's like, how much am I letting it go? Like, not that I could stop it, but just like by celebrating it. And not thinking like, fuck, is that like an overreach of fucking abuse of power of some kinds?
The problem is, I said this, I don't know if I said this to you, but I always have this when I have these conversations and I say like, this kind of shit's going on all the time and we just don't know.
That's a good point.
The CIA, the KGB, Mossad, all these countries have these top agents, the MI6 and MI5.
That's a good point.
They're all doing bullshit like this. We think I always think like when we hear like a Boston bombing, for example, or anything, or like a shooting in a mall or something. How much of that, this now we're getting being on the conspiracy side, is a cover up? Like when I love James Bond, me and Selena's been watching the whole Daniel Craig James Bond series. We have one more movie left, and it's like they'll do this stuff, shit'll blow up, and then the cover up will be like, well, there was a gas line explosion. You know what I mean? Like this kind of shit is definitely going on.
That's a great point. You know what? You're right. I get so, now I just feel like a gullible idiot. Like, yeah, you know what? I never really concentrate on that part of it. I'm always like assuming like it is what it is. Like
I go about life like that, but I just think.
No, these big events, like these where these agencies are involved, like how much is it? Like, this is where like I don't want to attach everything that happens to some kind of conspiracy theory, right? But now this is the Mossad and this is the Hezbollah. Like, this is like, yeah, like, go ahead. You know what I mean? Like,
it's organizations that operate in secrecy that we actually get to see proof of it actually happening
because they mention it.
Yeah.
But even then, by them mentioning it, what are we missing still?
Exactly.
Not that I need to hold this one, but there is something there is something else that we're missing. Makes me not want to involve in the story at all. I'm curious when something that appears to be an accident, and then people try to attach things to it. Like, I know this is maybe why you don't smoke weed. You know what I mean? Like, because you can find conspiracy and everything.
Oh,
but
man.
Like, remember that Baltimore Bridge? Like a few months ago.
You know what I mean?
And then
I
somebody
thought the same shit.
And then somebody can put like a fucking a fast motion video of the fucking boat moving a certain way.
Yeah.
And they're like, why did it do that? And I'm just like, I want to live my life thinking that was an accident.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? But like, how much of that was like, could be a Mossad cover up or.
The blackout's a big one for me. I just can't fathom how that happened in North America. And really? it was down for days, Jay.
But I can think of it. I don't want to be a gullible idiot or whatever, but I think like our power grid and all that is like so old, and so like we don't realize how much things are concentrated.
For sure,
we rely on like one generator in Ohio.
For sure, of course, that's what that's what the media said. That's exactly what the media said.
That's what some plebe would fucking say,
and I believe it too. But at the same time, is it that far fetched to think that? Russia hacked the grid and said, "See, this is what we can fucking do to you."
Interesting.
Or this is what, or North Korea, or China.
Yeah, I don't fall into those kind of conspiracies.
It's crazy because the one thing I always think, like, we hear about the FBI, we hear about the RCMP, we hear about all these, but how often do you hear about the CSIS and the CIA? You never hear about what they're doing.
Of course not. It's a job, though.
Exactly. And
so you think these cover-ups are the consequences of whatever they're doing?
Yeah. Sometimes. So it's like so you guys are getting all these budgets and doing, like, do you see the CSIS building, the Canadian Spy Agency, whatever? It's like $1 billion building. You guys are getting all this money to not do anything.
To fucking yeah.
I don't believe that. I really don't believe that.
You know what? Like I tend not to try to think about things that are like I can't really do much about.
Yeah.
Like I do think like you introduce new ways for me to be paranoid about fucking things. But
shit.
I don't cling to that paranoia.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Do you think but if you smoke weed, then you like cling to that kind of paranoia?
I think about it too much when I smoked weed.
Drinking doesn't like tie those thoughts into you?
Drinking does the opposite.
It makes you forget.
Yeah. So that's why I like having the both. Yeah. That's why I like doing edibles and drinking.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not drinking right now. But I am drinking right now. But I'm not.
The show wouldn't exist.
Used to be.
But yeah, okay.
Yeah, I like to think about those things, but I will never operate my life based on those because that's why I took the vaccine. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I could think about, that's fishy, but to operate my life based on something I don't really know or something I don't understand fully.
Would you take the vaccine again?
Would I take, probably.
Not back in time, but like, say in like a couple years,
another
fucking thing.
Probably only because I trust doctors and I have no choice but to trust doctors. They've shown me, they've cured me whatever ailments I've had, and they've fixed ailments. They've made my buddy here a bionic man. So medicine is real, right? Science is real. So I stick to the experts. And so if somebody is asking me a question about welding, I'm the expert and I'm going to tell you. You don't have to believe it or not. Like, you know what's funny? So, I forget who it was. They were talking about welding. Like, oh, that's welding. I said, that's not welding. They're cutting. But I see fire. I said, we don't weld with fire. Like, we don't weld. Are you sure? No, we do not weld with fire. But to them, they're like, you're an idiot. Of course you weld with fire.
Yeah.
No, we don't. It's electricity. It's just electricity and science, basically.
But depending on how old they are, they just see like an acetylene torch, right? They see brazing.
And we know like that's retarded. Like brazing, you can't weld. Yeah, they'll be brazing an armored truck. They'll braze an armored. Yeah, that's gonna hold together.
No, I hear you. Like the where I don't like, but you're not forcing your opinion on whatever welding is or whatever. Like that's why if you become a CWB and certified person, then you get to say, yes, that's a pass, that's a fail.
Yeah,
100%. I'm authority. Like I can take that. You can do it. The thing with the whole vaccine and all this kind of thing is it's like before they made us take it. Like again, like the money that's in pharmaceuticals and the power they have, I'm a little bit more suspect than I was before.
Oh, for sure.
I believe in big pharma. Like with my asthma medications, they have that, but. Before the vaccines, I didn't know what Moderna was. Pfizer, I've heard of because they made a couple good other drugs.
Yeah,
right. But
I've heard of Moderna.
But I never did. After the vaccine, Moderna has advertising on the Maple Leaf Gardens boards. Mm-hmm. Like, where have all of a sudden you gotten all this money now that you're advertising on the ACC boards?
I'm pretty sure Moderna made contraceptives though.
Oh, that's what you and your J. Cole songs would have to fucking know all about that.
You had to know.
No, I get it. They were there. But just the abuse of power that somebody's getting the money for making me take these like vaccines. Like, it's just not, I just don't like that part. I am agreeing with you because I'm not leaving society.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to fucking do whatever it is.
Go camp?
I hate camping. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go camp. I'm renting a big ass house with a big ass pool right in the middle of fucking Florida. Like, so that's not how I spend my free time. I don't even go in the backyard anymore.
Foraging for berries for fun.
I want to be part of society. So I would take it again, but I don't, I don't know. I'm more suspect of like of bad decisions that are deciding on me taking this for other reasons than like not just like it is for the better health.
Do you think it was a bad decision for you to get the shot?
I think it was a bad decision to make me take the shot. I do think because the way we talk about COVID now, like Julie Chen missed a day of work and then she's back at work.
Yeah.
Like society did not have to shut down because Julie Chen had COVID.
But is that because of the vaccine, or is that like, because I know COVID before, like I said, I had COVID and I was out for 3-4 days. Like it was rough. And like I said, well, we just said my stepdad was out for a month, right? So is that because the virus got weakened, or was this how it was all the time? Because now I don't hear of anybody dying from COVID, really.
I don't know either. I don't think society should have shut down.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with the shutdown.
Okay, so then we're tied in. I would gladly take the shot again to not shut down society.
Oh, 100%.
But I would not feel 100% happy with being forced to do that decision.
I don't think a shutdown is necessary at all. But yes, I'm with you. I like the choice, but we're already stripped of the choice we're already indoctrinated from going to school of not having the choice of not being vaccinated, right?
I hear you. I agree. I'm not an anti-vax. I'm just thinking that the word vaccine has now been fucking bastardized. Like it's not the same as it was before.
It will never be.
And just these government mandates that never had to happen before.
Yeah.
Right. Like, again, some of them yes, some of them no. But it's just like it's all not researched.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have zero problem with like the polio vaccine. Like I think that's been vetted.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there was the polio vaccine, I wasn't around for it. So the get rich scheme of whatever happened with that, I'm unaware of.
Mm-hmm.
The get rich scheme of fucking the COVID vaccine, I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not like happy with how, like it doesn't make me feel good that but I mean, somebody's got to make money off it somewhere. Yeah. And the fact that money's in it makes me hesitate if the right thing is being done.
Well, research is not cheap.
I hear you, but it wasn't like it was just whatever. I'm agreeing with you.
No, I know.
The doctors are there.
I'm really talking to them in the mic.
It was rolled into a thing that, I don't know. I'm not as suspect in it as the most suspect people are, but I'm not, it's the same with the power, with the pagers and all that. I'm just not ready to give all that ultimate power to people that are ultimately failed humans that are just making choices that you and I make, but with less consequences. I'm not going to make you do that. Like you've been a boss for a long time now, right? Like don't say anything you want to do, right? But every time you're going to get a step up in things that have become part of your responsibility. Yeah. And some of it is, yes, you can go grab me a saw blade and bring it to fucking home, and I'm not going to get fucking worry about it, right? Because they're not going to miss it, and you're just whatever. You would do it for yourself, so you're going to take it. But then some of it is like disciplining other people. Yeah. And then some of it is like almost everything you do. I can't think of any bad things that you've done in your rise to power. And some people would say that you were a fool to bring Booby up into your ranks. But that proved to be a fucking genius move, right? Like never knew you were going to get all these other Indians. Never knew that being able to guide this highly motivated person who's makes every wrong decision, but being having to manipulate his ability and deal with him turned out great for you and the company and him.
And him, yeah.
Like nothing bad. The only people that feel bad to him are people that are jealous of his rise.
Absolutely.
And or like if anybody says to you, "Oh, you shouldn't have," like now look at what you've done. You've created this monster. You look at me. Yeah, I've created a fucking productive member of our society here at work.
A self-proclaimed company man.
Of course, he's a company man, right? That you've made because you're a company man. He's fucking molded him into your fucking image. So that's good. You know what I mean? That's good. You don't care. There's no real bad consequences other than, okay, I got to do this for Booby. I got to do whatever it is, right? Yeah. It's just like I'm managing him in a way. And you manage people, I guess, differently all the time. Like everybody gets managed differently. Yeah. Or I guess to however patient you might be at the time. So I guess disciplining Booby in your own, you've always got to just do it yourself. Right? Like in a way, whatever he's gotten written up in for certain things back in the day, but you get to say, that's dumb, don't do that, or that's retarded, don't do that, or that's great, you keep doing this, or I need you to do that, and whatever, deal with the way. But that's Booby. You know him better than anybody else on your floor, I would imagine. Yeah. And I guess you can know other people in that same way, but I don't know, is it always easy? Like, would you say dealing with Booby is easy or not?
Dealing with Booby is not easy. But I think because of the relationship we have, it's just easy to give him, it's easy to talk to him. Like I can, like was it last week? No, it was this week. he had a little thing on Friday with your buddy Tariq, and I like laid into him. I was like, this kind of shit you're doing is stupid, but. And like he was a little upset with me for a little bit, but it didn't change the relation. The thing is just the same shit after. Like that's probably because we just worked so closely, especially recently. So he can say shit to me, and he went from, this is the best way I can explain it. He went from, please don't get mad if I say this, to I know you're not going to be mad, and he'll tell me whatever it is.
Yeah,
you know. So that's basically. It's
growing and how you communicate.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about it like that. But when it's not him, like when it becomes to other people, some are better than others, right?
Yeah. Gordon.
Yeah, like he's
so
a handful
hard.
to me.
So hard dealing with him.
And I don't, like, I've lost respect when I was there for him, just seeing how he presented himself compared to how everybody else and his expectations of what he wanted. And you and Booby would fucking bow in a way, like you would bow to his catering of what he needed.
Absolutely.
Just to get good production out of a guy.
We're not even getting that.
But I mean, like, when do you stop? Like, what's the point of that?
So we had this discussion. I've had a meeting about Gordon this week as well.
You didn't have, I'm not getting you to mention people.
I know,
and all
but
that.
I'm just saying I had a meeting about him this week, and so the thing is, Booby had a problem with Gordon because he was not coming to him for things, and we had this whole argument where I said Gordon didn't have his book, and he's standing there, whatever, and Booby was like, I'm not gonna baby him and blah blah blah. I said, it's not about babying. It's not about babying. I said, we have to. If he was to get called inside right now and say, why were you standing there? And his response would be, I don't have my book, and I don't have my job. I don't have a skill. Whose fault is that? His or ours? He said that would be our fault. I said, exactly. So what you have to do, some of our people are self-sufficient. If they don't have a book, they'll go get it. Yep. They don't do this. But our job is to make sure he has everything he needs to do his job. And then whatever he does after that, that's his problem. But if he goes in there and says he doesn't have his book, they're going to say, okay, so what's your leaders doing? Why don't you have your book? Why don't you have this? So I said, it doesn't matter how much you feel about it. Give him a welder, give him his skid, give him his book. And then once you do all what your responsibilities are, the rest is on him. And he had an issue with that for a while, but I said, you want to cover your ass, because that's all Ryan's going to do. All he's going to do is say, because I've heard it 1,000,000 times already, so that's your responsibility. That's your responsibility. You can't expect everybody to do your responsibilities. That's how I deal with those people. I have a limit. Like, I'm not, one time he asked me, can you plug in my welder? I said, no, I'm not fucking plugging your welder in. I bring you your welder and I'll leave it there, but I'm not plugging it in. So there's a limit, but it's up to what I have to do with my job, because there's other things I have to do as well.
As a coworker, it's annoying to see that he needs that kind of attention, but like not having either way to deal with it, like, or having to do with anything. It's just observations to see, and I guess, like, whatever, it comes and goes. That's why I've never put myself in that position to need to have that discipline to fucking, like, cater to people like that.
It sucks, and I can't, especially me, I can't imagine being that reliant.
No, then you become then you hate that person.
Yeah.
Then you dislike that person. You find it hard to like that person.
Absolutely.
Like, hate is my word. I'll take that out. But you find it hard to respect that person. And then, like, so how hard is it to not respect everybody that you have working for you? Like, it would be, I mean, it seems like inevitable, but it seems like impossible to that to be a reality.
I mean, I respect everybody, and I just understand that everybody has their shortcomings, everybody has their things, and you just have to work with that. I know they're not going to all be perfect. Like, shit, remember when I was on day shift? I had good work ethic, I would think, and I would come to work, but shit, I talked a lot. No. I talked a lot. So, of course, you're going to have to, and it's like Johnny is a great worker, does his thing, but his attitude is just so...
So do you look at your old self as a problem employee?
No, I look at my old self as a great employee.
So if you had some fucking clown talking as much as you did on your shift...
I do, Vishu.
Then do you have to step in?
No, I just leave him. Because at the end of the day, he does what I want him to do. But so like he'll do something, like, and then he'll finish, like, say he'll do 2 side packs, or one day he did 2 sets of side packs in a shift. steel side pack, so you're only welding one side, but whatever. He did 2 sets, and he was so proud of it. It is a lot. He was so proud of himself and stuff, and so he leans on that. So like he'll do something, and then he'll finish a whole side pack, and then he'll put the body up, and he'll be like, "Look, I did the whole side pack, and I put it up on the floor." And then he starts to relax. He'll relax like 2-3 hours, whatever. Me, on the other hand, I overall look at the job and I say, okay, I put up this side pack and I say, okay, I could do my headboard, I could do my bumper, and then tomorrow I can just chill out. So I would just do as much as I can in the one day so that just my next day is easier. He will do one job and then stop, and then now you don't get ahead. So what was the point of killing yourself to speed up and do that one thing
for time to just relax?
But like that's just ridiculous to me. You're just there was no point. I'd rather just do the job at an even pace or do the job to get ahead. I'm not killing myself for no reason.
If I try to think of what it was like to work, let me see.
You gotta think back
Go back
hard,
into the
Jay.
fucking dream sequence.
You gotta think back hard.
I definitely had like a plan and how I wanted to do it. I don't think I pre-planned as much as I pre-planned. I like to know so I think I like to see all the parts of the fucking thing. I like to see what's going on, and I like to give like the whole plans like a kind of overall look. It's kind of helpful when you've seen almost everything. Yeah, but like almost great when you get like kind of something new, like and different, and then they were always changing something, so you couldn't rely on you knew exactly what they were going to need there. So some things took more of my attention than others,
for sure.
But you're right, like I wouldn't have it so detailed when I try to think of it, but I would instantly have a plan in my head on how I want to go procedure wise, and I get knocked out of sorts really easy if somebody else comes in and tries to step on that plan. So even somebody coming and making my floor for me, and I'm just like, yeah, this seems what a company should do, and that's like the right thing to do, but it's already knocked me off of how I can make this for you.
You've already planned for this, damn it.
And so I can't, like, I feel like I'm just being a little precious, so-and-so by having that feeling. I've had to let go of that. Mm-hmm. And then you feel like I said, probably other conversations, then you feel like less responsible for the whole project. Yep. And I don't want to do that. Like I like having that kind of feeling of whatever I want to own, I'll kind of own, or whatever, just live in that moment. But I find the more planning you do, the more disappointing you're going to be on that plan never coming to happen. But it's easy when it's just numbers and parts, but when it's people, like I have this expectation of this person and they just let you down. Like almost everybody's going to let you down, and I just don't. It's hard for me to like, depending on how they did let you down, like even just say somebody you really like at work, like whatever, Alvin, it's everything he does. I don't want to I'm not going to like rat this guy out or say anything on this and that, but it's like, fuck, man, you're taking advantage of our relationship. I'm not saying you've ever said this. I'm just saying that you can look at it and go, oh man, are you taking advantage of this situation right now? Yeah. Like, could you get more done? Like, yeah, but like, I'm not going to say anything. There's no point of saying anything. Like, when would you say something? Like, do you ever say like fuck, what would this guy have to do for me to say something about him, right? It's like an exercise, like a futility exercise.
It's harder for me with people that I don't like. Me and Alvin have a good relationship, so I just say whatever I want to him, and he doesn't take it in any sort of way. But it's harder with like, like other people.
Yeah, I get it.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's just a little harder. Like Love Deep, your favorite person. He's easy to talk to. You tell him whatever, and he'll do it. If he made a mistake, he'll do it. He doesn't necessarily want to fix other people's work. That's one of his big gripes. Yeah. But he'll do it reluctantly. And he's not one of those guys who really relaxes too much. He just works to the end of the shift, and he usually stops a little early, but he consistently works the whole time, and he's consistently consistent.
That fucking sounds pretty consistent.
So it's like that's the hardest part of this job, which a lot of people don't like. I said, like, people go, when I went on overtime last week and I was just so happy just to be able just to weld. Like I just
so how did that go?
Okay, it was great. Yeah. I did a sliding top. It was like seconds, like riding a bike. You just automatically remember everything you're doing, and you're just not even really thinking of it. I was listening to music. I was listening to podcasts, Jay. Like, you know what I mean?
I do. I used to do that.
I just find it so funny when people look and say, oh, you're actually working it. I'm sitting here having the time of my life. To me, that's not working. That job is not hard. Not anymore, compared to dealing with 20 personalities, 15 personalities, and production meetings, and doing all this like managing and being responsible for not what you're doing with your hat. I'm responsible for my sliding top, so I know if I pass or fail, it's all up to me. But now I'm judged based on what everybody else does.
Yeah, I could never. That's my whole mantra the whole time. I could never ever take myself out of that comfort zone that you just said.
It's so hard.
It's so hard to take yourself out of it?
No, it's so hard to not want to go back.
Well, this is why nobody jumps at the chance of doing things what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like that's why. Like again, like I'm just every time you say that, I'm just fucking happier with that. Like I'm in a position to just keep doing that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not. I put myself out there a little bit, and now I'm just like I don't ever like. It was never me. It was just you.
I think it could have been you.
It could have been me. And it's there, but it's just far removed from the guy just doing what you just said.
Sorry.
What you just said is what I wanted to, like, is how I want to set myself up for.
Yep.
There's way less disappointment. The respect and stuff I was asking you, like having somebody to work underneath you that you don't respect fully, like, I'm sure it happens and you deal with it. You don't have whatever your expectations are. When it's the other way, when you lose respect of the people above you, then it's really hard to get that back.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what I'm going to do to get like Ali's respect in my head back. I don't want like not me getting his respect back, me respecting him. Me not like saying like with Tariq. Tariq's easier because it's whatever I give him. And now if he's like a big lead hand guy, then when I come back and do all that, it's like it's out of my hands. Like you know what I mean? Like I can only whatever. Like you guys made that choice. Like if there's something toxic from that coming down on me, like I felt it away from like Ali or whatever, it's never wasn't that big of a deal. But just like I just don't feel you have my back now. So I don't trust you. Yeah. If I don't feel I fully have. See, with Tariq, I've never really had to need him have my back in a professional type of way. Yeah. Right? It's just been like whatever, fucking through the email and joking and have all like that. So I'm interested to see how that kind of goes. If he tries to overstep a certain boundary, I'm expecting it in a way, but I'm not really worried about any kind of consequence of it.
Yeah.
The Ali thing, I'm just like, fuck, like this. Like I was just confused and still a little confused. It's like, so now I'm reluctant to trust it. So now I just don't have to worry about it. Like I'm not overstepping his bounds. I'm just like, man, I know all these problems that you were just talking about and just deal that. Just like, you know what, man? Like just stay in your lane. Just go in there and do what you want to do. Be Brian with his music and his fucking podcast and his tops and just like live in that moment. Don't take your work home with you and don't put yourself whatever out there. And so I think losing the respect of the people above you is like, I don't know. I don't know what's just harder or what's like easier to do or.
None of it's easy, Jay.
None of it's easy.
You have to balance. And not only losing the respect of people above you, then that means there's people below you who you want to respect, like I want the respect of the guys on the floor, but I also want the respect of the guys in the office. How do you balance both?
I agree with you. I want that too, and I have that. I think just like you said, that's when you look at a guy like you're Gordon, you just talked about, it's like, how can anybody respect this guy? Like in that kind of way. Like you just see like, fuck, man. And that's why I turn to look at it and go, fuck, why ever have a doubt in yourself? You think anybody's ever looked at you? This is like self-talk. Like anybody look at you like you look at this guy?
Yeah, no.
And so you have to go no. But like I think other people, like unless you're a psychopath, maybe I've like not been my best the whole time. I'm sure they've mentioned like, yeah, this guy's talked to Brian quite a bit. You know what I mean? Like wherever it is. And
yeah, but they're gonna caveat that with, well, both their jobs are under.
Yeah, that's where you do. Yeah, you. But then you're just letting yourself off the hook because you're not being your best at the moment. Yeah. But you're not trying to be your best at the moment. But you just say you always want all that respect. But ultimately, that's why to tie it all in before we go here, you want to be working because I think you have less respect for me now because I don't want to go back to work.
No, I don't have
know. That's I'm just saying that now. Look at you.
Because I know you do want to go.
No. But if you knew a man who, like I said, who does all these things that, like, you know what I mean, like lets his wife work and do all that, like who somebody like willingly won't go back to work forever.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, no, you need to have a certain thing. Like I don't need it. Yeah, like I do miss being a working man as my identity right now, but I know I'm going back to it eventually.
Yeah.
Like I miss it in the moment.
I think it's a different thing though. I think it's like more of a youthful thing. Young people who don't want to work. I get old people not wanting to work. Not you. I'm talking like retirees and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because like I get that because you put your time in. But when I see people like early Caleb, who is missing days all the time and whatnot, And I just can't understand that. I just couldn't.
I blame their parents or how they're brought up. Not fully there, but they just don't understand what responsibility is.
Yeah, it's just like
they think a job is easy to get.
It's not.
But I also, like I said, I would not want to be a young person today. Like I would want my youth back, but it's like I said, we just talked about the election. Like everything's so confusing, and I've seen so much
information coming at you,
and you don't know what to believe though.
Yeah.
So like I said, I understand. I do agree with you. Like I don't have respect for somebody who doesn't want to work. But I understand like a kid who's confused, who doesn't realize like working hard is a thing because they weren't taught that. I wasn't taught, not to blame parents, I wasn't taught to strive for better. I've said this before in the podcast. I wasn't taught to strive for these higher positions or as much as they wanted me to do, like, be the best person I could be. I didn't learn how to go about that or even seek it out. I sought out comfort and not being being not comfortable, whatever. So that's where I kind of strive at being happy. But I needed to learn that. Work ethic I learned. Like my mom never took days off. You know what I mean? Like she worked hard. Like my dad tried. You know, he had like his ways, right? But I knew how to work hard from that. Tammy's parents like instilled, you know what I mean, like how to study.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like be a good student and fucking work hard. But like she knows how to study. Like we do this fantasy football thing. She's got cards. Like being a university student, you know what I mean? Like she was taught how to be that. I'm not saying you and me, just never mind you, being thrown into university, just like, what the fuck? Like it would be so, I don't know how to be taught in that kind of way because I didn't go to school with that kind of mindset. So like I said, that's just that kind of confusion. But I blame somebody who doesn't have a good work ethic on their upbringing.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Finally, we agree after fucking 2.5 hours.
No, we agreed at the beginning of the show.
We agreed with our music choices. Oh, man.
You're productive. We agreed with that.
No, we didn't. We agreed with our music choices. I hope everybody finds a way to fucking listen to the songs that we listen to.
They'll find a way because I'll put it on Twitter at a playlist. Our YouTube channel will have a playlist. What should I call it? Boomer and what was the name of the
Boomer and Flow?
I think I'm gonna call it that.
Yeah,
the
Boomer and the Flow, or whatever. How you want to fucking figure
that can be how this segment's called, man.
Yeah, Boomer and Flow.
Yeah,
fucking chop it up.
Exactly.
But I can't wait for more. As I was listening to other things, I already got other songs that I was gonna pick. I'll eventually stop overthinking it, and we'll get there. But I really appreciated it. Yeah, and I hope it all sounded as good as I wanted it to.
Probably did. We're great. I want to thank everybody for listening to the Work Related Podcast.
So you heard him. Everybody get on that Work Related Twitter and get our updates. And we'll see you guys next week.